Washington, in an attempt to burnish his public image and leave no fingerprints behind. Donald Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort recently enlisted a longtime Russian colleague to help him ghostwrite an op-ed, prosecutors said Monday. The attempt to publish the op-ed under someone else's name now has prosecutors working for special counsel Robert Mueller pushing for Manafort to remain on house arrest and GPS monitoring for the time being. An op-ed is an opinion essay written to be published in some form, usually on a website or in a newspaper or magazine. It is usually marked as representing the views of the writer and separated from news content. In a court filing, prosecutors say Manafort and the colleague sought to publish the op-ed to influence public opinion about his political consulting in Ukraine, work at the heart of the criminal case against him. The op-ed was being drafted as late as last week, prosecutors say. They did not name the colleague but noted the person is based in Russia. Manafort is currently facing several felony charges involving allegations of money laundering and other financial crimes related to his political consulting work in Ukraine. Manafort has denied any wrongdoing. A trial is scheduled for next year. Reached Monday, a spokesman for Manafort declined comment on the op-ed described by prosecutors. In the court filing, prosecutors say the op-ed appeared to violate an admonishment from the judge last month to refrain from public statements. Even if the ghostwritten op-ed were entirely accurate, fair, and balanced, it would be a violation of this court's November 8 order if it had been published, the prosecutors wrote. The editorial clearly was undertaken to influence the public's opinion of defendant Manafort, or else there would be no reason to seek its publication, much less for Manafort and his longtime associate to ghostwrite it in another's name. They added, it compounds the problem that the proposed piece is not a dispassionate recitation of the facts. Prosecutors said they discovered the efforts to publish the op-ed last Thursday and alerted Manafort's attorney, who assured prosecutors that steps would be taken to make sure it was no longer going to be published. At the time, Manafort was working to secure his release from home confinement by posting more than $10 million in bond, and according to court papers, he had reached a tentative agreement with the government. But after discovering the op-ed, Mueller's team is now opposing Manafort's proposed bond agreement. Prosecutors did not disclose the op-ed in court papers so as to prevent it from becoming public. They also did not disclose what name the ghostwritten op-ed would have been published under. Manafort and his longtime business associate, Rick Gates, were indicted in October by a grand jury in Washington. They were among the first people to face charges brought by the special counsel's office. Manafort led the Trump campaign for several months, including during the Republican National Convention. Gates also worked in a senior role in the campaign.